Cold pedal on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, watching the Dow, which is now down only 30 points. Well, the president promised that the stimulus bill would create jobs, but our next guest says private sector jobs were actually lost because of the stimulus. Congressman Kevin Brady joins the company with more on that. You're a Republican, you're from Texas, and I believe you're telling me that 13 private sector jobs were lost for every government job created. Is that accurate, sir?
Well, it is, Stuart. We took a look at the top 20 metropolitan areas in the country, asked a simple question: what happened since the stimulus spending began? And what we've learned is in those 20 cities, they have 1 million fewer jobs today than when the stimulus began. And more stunning, for every federal government worker that was created, that job that was created, 13 jobs along Main Street were lost. And so the president's promise that the stimulus would create 90% of it would be used to create private sector jobs turns out just the opposite.
But is there a direct causal link between the two, or was it just time-wise coincidental?
You know, I think it was a direct result of the stimulus, which was directed toward government jobs, not small business, not Main Street jobs, not new investment. And that, I think, coupled with, again, the war on business that keeps coming out of Washington each day, I think the factor, both led by the president's economic policies, is the reason we have fewer jobs today than supposedly when the recession ended. We actually have fewer workers.
Now, there's roughly, I think, $150, $200 billion of that stimulus plan, which has not yet been spent. May have been committed, but it's not yet actually gone out of the Treasury's door and into the economy. If you win big next week, if the Republicans win big, would you favor just stopping that and not spending the $150, $200 billion that's so far not been spent?
You know, I would. One, because it's so poorly designed, it won't create jobs. Secondly, I think for business confidence and for consumer confidence, I think the party that steps up and says we're going to get our financial house in order as a country is the one that helps jumpstart the economy. So, yes, I'd stop that spending. What
else would you do? Would you actually cut spending? And if so, where? Where would you make a big-time cut?
Well, we don't have a choice. Clearly, and you made the point leading into this, the Speaker of the House has added $5 trillion of debt during her speakership, as much as all 57 speakers ahead of her combined. That is part of our loss of consumer confidence and business confidence. So we're going to have to, I think, immediately go back to the pre-bailout and pre-stimulus levels. But more importantly, we have to set a goal to shrink the size of our federal government back to the most fuel-efficient size, the size that helps generate the strongest economy. That won't happen overnight, but we can start immediately.
So you were doing a kind of across-the-board thing, like the British are doing, actually. You pick a percentage and say, right, this department, this department, this department, you're all of you going to live on whatever percentage point less spending you choose.
We'll have to do that, plus we've proposed over $1 trillion of cuts already. We want those proposals to come to the floor, and we also think that the goal ought to be, again, not simply balancing the budget, that's part of the goal, but actually shrinking the size of government to where it actually works toward the strongest economy we can possibly create. So, and again, Stuart, as you know, those are not easy tasks, but I think voters are looking for truth tellers who will tell them just how bad the budget is and what we need to get out of it.
Maybe we've arrived at that point. Congressman Kevin Brady, Republican, Texas, thanks for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stuart.
Now, I want to bring in Amelia Antonetti, small business owner extraordinaire. Amelia, welcome.